Welcome to City on a Hill Gaming, a tabletop RPG actual play and discussion podcast. We hope you enjoy our show. Welcome back to City on a Hill Gaming. I am your Ryan. Hello. Joining me are your Daniel. Your Grant. It's Grant. Your Peter.
Hello.
And your Greg.
Yo.
And it is time, once again, for some Wanderhome. Our furry friends coming together and adventuring all over the place to some very curious places. And now, it's been a hot minute. Let's reintroduce characters, if we can, real quick. Grant.
Yo.
Introduce yourself, sir.
Oh, yeah. So, this is Sunny. Sunrise to people who aren't his friends. There are very few of those. They, them pronouns. Heron, a dancer, and all in all, was surprisingly positive for somebody with what I'm sure is a terribly tragic backstory. I just, haven't thought of it yet. They're doing their best, getting by, and recently joining with everybody here and starting to travel along.
Speaking of terribly tragic backstories, it's Greg.
Yay! Pebble time!
Tell us of Pebble.
Pebble, the ragamuffin penguin, just loves to have fun and run and play and dream horrible, horrible dreams of a future with war to come and being able to look into the eyes of others and see their darkest fears. Yay, penguin!
Dance!
That's Pebble. Daniel, Marion.
I'm playing Marion. Marion is a very serious character. Marion is a pilgrim, a ceaseless animal, an anthropomorphized caribou, and tends to be very contemplative but willing to help.
Yeah! I forgot you were a caribou. Peter, tell me of Archibald.
Archibald is Walrus, and he's the peddler of the group. He has also sort of, taken up the role as kind of like the steadying presence throughout the campaign, so...
We are chaos.
Some of you are chaos.
Yeah, Archibald is definitely not chaos.
Looks at Pebble.
Marion is trying not to be chaos despite his players' proclivities.
Predisposition. And I am playing Bria, and she is a skunk firelight. And when last we left our adorable band of fuzzy people, sure, we'll go with that, we were at the World's Edge Abbey, which is on the edge of a giant desert. Grant.
Specifically a giant salt flat.
There it is.
It's in the desert, kind of the desert as you approach being more of that kind of lively southwestern United States desert. Plants, trees, but still quite dry. But on the other side of it, sort of below a low cliff, essentially, there's a giant salt flat that is, bright, brilliant white in moonlight, blinding to look at it, in the day. And on the rare occasion it gets rain, just utterly mirror-like. Of course, during the day you also get a lot of mirages. So, a strange liminal sort of location out there beyond the walls. And there are a few other details about World's Edge Abbey. If you go back and listen to the previous Wanderhome episode, you'll hear us create all of that. So there you go. We do have a couple of NPCs that we've come up with. Roderick, who's an owl, self-appointed foreman of the glassworks here at this monastery. And Yancey, who's a parakeet person, a younger monk chafing under the older, more set-in-its-ways leadership. Main animal folk here are monkeys, mice, snakes, desert owls, and coyotes. And the one of the forgotten spirits of the area is Jerboa, who's very fond of moving rocks about. Or no, excuse me, the moving rocks are, I think, one of the other spirits, I believe.
Yes, I think so.
Kind of those, akin to sort of those wandering stones that you get out in, say, Death Valley.
But do those stones ever just, wander home?
No.
Just move on. Just ignore him and move on. It's not even that one even got Daniel. That was actually pretty solid then.
I wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah.
You should always be prepared with Greg.
If you see the little mute icon go off, just tune it out.
Something's about to happen.
As I recall, Marion was the main person who'd sort of suggested that we all come out this way. Marion, do you have a reaction to seeing this place for the first time?
Marion's reaction would be kind of like a reserved. I don't know. Like for part of it, he's like excited, but also kind of nervous because there's stories about how this place, makes you think and can be trying. But he's a pilgrim. He kind of wants to do stuff like that.
Mhm. Okay. So mostly internal reactions. Is that exhibited to the rest of the traveling companions in any way?
I think in insofar as he's like, I think it makes him try to act like more encouraging. Like, come on, guys, it's just a little bit further. Like, let's go. To kind of talk himself through his anxiety a bit too. So
Is
keeping himself hyped up as much as everybody else.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
neat. All right. We get in, I assume, or at least come up to the gates. Is this the sort of place that leaves its gates open for visitors, or is it closed up, maybe due to, weather and wildlife and relatively few people? What are we looking at here?
I don't know why, but I want to say no that they don't. But I don't know that I have a reason for that.
They don't close their doors?
They don't keep them open.
Okay. Well, like I said, I think it makes sense if it's a relatively low like not especially relatively low occupancy. That's the word I'm looking for. Sorry, I'm going to apologize to everybody listening. I'm fighting a migraine, so my brains and words they're not meeting.
I think it's also the kind of place that like has become more of a business than maybe it should have.
Sure, that's interesting.
And that precipitates a different approach to people coming and going.
Right. Okay.
I think Bria also finds the desert unsettling for some reason. Or maybe that's because Ryan finds the desert unsettling for some reason. I'm not sure which.
Valid. What's the process for getting in?
I want to say unnecessarily large Charlie and the Chocolate Factory style door with bell, but I don't know why. Because that seems unnecessary.
Well, yeah, but it is a monastery, and at some point, I think that also, would contribute to that.
If we're going Willy Wonka, is there going to be like a river of like molten glass rolling through there for the forge?
You're very quiet.
I'm not upset if there is.
That sounds like a safety hazard.
Meh.
It does sound like a safety hazard.
Sounds fine.
So is a river of chocolate.
And
But
we
only
saw
one-
what happened.
But only one would anybody want to jump into.
That's true. What's the first sign of glass then that we see?
The whole outside of the building.
I think we had established that like it was kind of this mirrored looking building.
Right. Okay. What is Pebble's reaction to that? Because that is a wild structure.
Probably dancing in front of the mirrored walls at first.
Mm-hmm. Making faces.
Of course. And did we ever decide if they're like just a mirrored wall or if it's like a one-way mirror?
I assume it's probably just like tinted glass, essentially, where you can see yourself in the reflection, but they're doing something to keep the sun out as best they can, or at least reduce its glare.
Dancing and making faces in front of the mirror.
Excellent.
I love the idea of Pebble doing that while there's just like monks inside, just like trying to read. And right beside them, there's just a penguin on the other side of the glass, just.
This seems very reasonable.
This also seems very Pebble.
Truth.
Whether or not he knows that he can see him.
I don't think it would
nothing.
matter. I don't think it would matter very much.
Exactly. It changes nothing.
Yeah. But Marion's just going, oh no.
Bria will pull the lever, Kronk. Pull whatever rings the doorbell.
Excellent. A young man comes out to greet you. There's sort of a creak, massive creaking as this large door opens, just enough to let one person out. Head pops around the corner. Oh, you're a group of travelers? Businessmen?
Yes.
Little bit of both.
Oh, well, glad to have you. Here, let me get these doors. Yeah, starts hauling on the door, pushing it. It's well hung, but inertia is a thing, as are parakeet bones. So
Hmm.
it takes a moment for him to get the doors moving, but he eventually does. And your party, including your very tired beetle, get to enter in. It's an interesting place, low to the ground in a lot of ways, a lot of stone, but where there isn't stone, there's glass and mirrors and not whimsy exactly, but a willingness to decorate, a willingness to make art in places where it might otherwise feel absent, if that makes any sense. You don't see a ton of other people. You do, however, see signs of industry around the main glass works, smoke and sound and things like that. So that's all going on. This young man leads you into essentially a guest house, a sort of dormitory with some stables. I'll go tell I'll, I'll go tell the senior monk on duty that you're here.
I feel like my beetle just kind of like wanders into the stall when given it, and just kind of tips over.
Oh, are they supposed to do that?
He looks very tired. I'm going to get him some food.
Yes. Yes. We maintain a small supply of fodder for travelers' mounts. We do that.
That is very much appreciated.
Good. Let me go get that. Scampers
Okay.
off.
Archibald kind of rummages around in the packs a little bit and says some apologetic and soothing things to the beetle and gives it a little bit of a snack while he's waiting for the guy to come back with like the actual, main meal for it. I didn't realize we'd pushed you quite so hard, old boy.
This place is very unusual.
It is, isn't it? That's sunny. Not the sort of place I expected to end up anytime soon.
Agreed.
But here we are.
I would venture that on my pilgrimages, this is going to be one of the more unique locations. There's a lot going on here, and nothing going on here at the same time.
True of a lot of places, isn't it? Everything that happens is important to the people there, but for everyone else just passing through, it all just sort of, you can leave it all behind.
I mean, here it also seems a little more literal here, just kind of like gestures at the view of just the bleak salt flats extending out in the horizon.
I don't know. There's something kind of soothing about those.
For now.
For now, that's true. Bit difficult to look at right now, to say that. Oof. Hate to be out there at midday. Especially if I couldn't see my way back to here.
Yeah, that'd probably get a little distressing.
Pretty sure you could see this from anywhere, nearby at least.
I would imagine with Archibald being a walrus, his eyes are probably pretty adapted to glare, given that he's a creature that's native to an area with lots of snow.
Yeah, I would say this place is probably very easy to find during the daytime.
Yes, there is that. Night, a bit of a different story.
Yeah, it's low. You already said it's a low set building, so there's not much silhouette of it against anything.
Though I imagine walking up on those mirrors in the dark must be something.
Well, the other thing that you have to consider is since the salt flat acts as a huge reflector, probably doesn't get all that dark here at night.
Well, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
True. I wonder. What if they go out at night much?
Sure, if we asked them, they'd tell us.
Perhaps. Well,
It'll be interesting to see what kind of trading you can do with them here.
Spoiler, lots of glassware.
Yes.
So many baubles.
Yeah.
like the kind of place that thinks they don't need much, and then you'll find that there's so many things that they do kind of want after all.
I've usually done fairly brisk business in tools here. They use a lot of different things working the glass. So
you've been up here before?
Once or twice.
Fascinating.
They've made amazing advances in this stuff called bubble wrap.
The next 90 minutes of our recording is just Pebble with bubbles. Just pop, pop,
Pop,
pop,
pop,
pop,
pop,
pop, pop, pop.
Pauses, resumes again.
Finishes sheet A.
Yeah. Sets aside soft scraping noises, more popping.
Oh, I fear what I have brought into this campaign.
Well, it makes you feel better. I don't think I actually have any. I am looking.
I'm surprised that within arm's reach, I don't have one of those things that my kids have. That are, it's just bubble wrap but made of silicon, so you can.
Poppets or poppets.
Yeah,
Oh,
poppets.
little rainbow thingies.
I was like, it can't be poppets. That was the kids' toy from the '90s, but that's not right either.
Pop it.
Yes.
Pop socket.
Pull it.
Wait,
Wait.
skip
Twist
it.
it.
Pogs. No, that's the other thing.
Skip it. Wait. Anyway, desert glass making.
Right.
Yeah.
So the guy comes back.
Yes. Yes. Right. Found it. There we are. It's got a sack and a water skin for the beetle. I cannot remember the beetle's name. We talked about it in like the very first episode. And then
Yeah. I don't think it's
I was
been.
gonna call it Littlefoot,
referenced
but
by-
that's from the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the lizard.
That was the lizard, yeah.
Well, take the food and water over to the beetle after making the appropriate noises of gratitude and thanks and start tending to it.
Of course,
It perks up pretty fast.
Bailey.
Brother Roderick has asked me to remind you that you're welcome to join us for the evening meal.
Well, we would be delighted to attend.
Very good.
What's the rhythm of this place like when you take a bit to wander around?
So my thought is that the rhythm of this place, because there's glass works, which means that you're going to have furnaces and bellows. So in my head, I think, especially with all the glass like construction, the acoustics in here are terrible. So you can basically hear that bellows anywhere you go. So it's like the whole place is breathing all the time. You can just hear the just echoing, kind of pulsing throughout the whole thing. So it feels urgent, I would say, feels maybe restless, like there's this thing that always needs to be going.
Constant.
Yeah, and then we
have,
can figure it out at night when they shut the furnace down.
Well, actually, I have a thought on that too.
Yeah.
Because this is like a southwestern style desert, it probably cools down a great deal at night, which means that this place is probably a bit more nocturnal than a lot of the other places that we've been. They'll heat the glass up during the day and then work it at night when it's a little bit more comfortable to do so. And because, like I alluded to earlier, you get a lot of reflection from the moon off of the salt flat, they've even got a certain amount of additional light from that to work with.
So I will say, I love this idea. Maybe it is a more nocturnal operation because you can't heat glass up during the day and then just work it overnight. You have maybe 15 seconds to work glass.
Okay.
Comes out of the furnace.
Or you just have to heat it again.
Yeah, it has to keep going back in, back and forth, back and forth. 15 seconds to a minute, depending on complex chemical composition stuff and what you're doing with it and all this. But now, the annealing process where it cools down from those high temperatures once it's shaped, that can take a long time, hours to a day. So there may be something there, but given that you're trying to fight the worker heat, maybe most of the work happens at night, and all the preparation and restocking,
Selling.
the customer facing stuff happens during the day. So there's almost two shifts.
Oh man, it'd be like working thirds and firsts.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many years of working there. It's not the best, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably start like the actual glass working around midnight, and then all of the customer facing stuff is during the day.
It does mean there's always food, though, because you have to eat lunch at 2 a.m.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You said midnight. The sun would have been down for a couple hours at that point. This is a monastery. Is there some sort of ritual that happens before
Prior to,
start the glass work.
Yeah, I believe in the last session I had come up with developed the idea that this would be a very ritualized practice kind of place because
Yeah.
glass is extraordinarily dangerous and fragile, so you have to already have a lot of rituals with handling.
Mhm.
So I would think that yes, this is a very structured kind of place. So I believe there probably would be a very like liturgical kind of ritual to beginning the forging and lighting the forge and all of that.
They've even got like some specific prayers that they say over it and stuff, and then fire it up and
Yeah.
start working.
And again, all the hymns and stuff inside this place would probably sound really cool, just with the how echoey it'll be.
Glass pipe organ.
I was thinking glass harmonica.
Oh,
oh.
that it's only going to add to the creepiness. I love it.
Why not both?
Yeah,
Aw.
the instrument that allegedly you will go insane if you listen to it for too long.
Oh no, it's lovely.
Yeah, no, it's really cool too.
Yes.
This whole place is just a big pile of things. I hate it. Good.
You have an issue with sand? Is that the problem?
No,
I mean,
I
it's
don't think
everywhere.
I do.
So how do you feel
of
about
course.
sand?
It gets everywhere. I can't quote the actual thing anymore. I don't remember it well enough.
Yeah,
But
just
thank you for
podcast-
teeing that up for me.
Yeah.
Deserts and glass. Like, is silica the problem?
It turns out sand is the issue. All the
This
echoing.
podcast brought to you by sand. It's everywhere. Get used to it.
You're not wrong.
Coarse and gritty and gets everywhere.
There's 150 pounds of it in the next room.
There's a sand man.
There is 150 pounds of it in the next room. I wasn't joking.
Okay.
I bought a
Now-
punching bag, and that's how it's weighed down.
That would
So
do
there's
it.
That makes sense then.
yes.
Now, is it actually hanging? So you have 150 pounds hanging in the
No,
next room?
no,
Okay.
it's one of the. It's in the base, and it's above the base.
Ah.
Right.
The hanging ones are just too much to deal with.
Yes.
Do you want the Pebble response to that?
I
Sure.
don't know that I do, but sure.
But the hanging ones are best because you can swing from them.
That makes sense. He not wrong.
That-
Pebble
that's
can
the Pebble
swing from them.
response.
Ryan, not so much.
Yeah.
That makes the parent in me very anxious because 150 pounds hurts a lot when it tips over and lands on you.
Yeah.
That's why it's the hanging one. It
Yes,
doesn't tip
they-
over.
Yes, they do.
It can come out of the ceiling.
My dad owned a gym at one point.
I've seen Avengers. I know how this happens.
So yes, I would say there's a lot of, to get back to our original point.
The what now? Yes.
Yes, there are it's going to be a lot of rituals for this. Marion is probably going to be extra anxious, and I imagine other characters might be as well, because I'm certain that having Pebble in an entire place made of glass,
Can only be good.
Marion's just going to be like, just don't touch anything. Just put your hands in your pocket. Oh, we don't have pockets. Someone get him some pockets.
Yes, sir, we have pockets. Don't you take that away from me.
Okay,
Archibald helpfully like rummages around, comes back with like a carpenter's belt kind of a thing, where it's
Yeah.
got like some big pouches on the side. He's like, he's got pockets now. Hands
Yay.
it over.
please don't have left a hammer in the carpenter's belt.
He'll be fine.
Nope.
It's okay, I'm sure.
Nope, it's fine.
It's just
No
more-
tools, just pockets. More
Don't
pockets.
need tools. I will live up to my name.
We're in danger.
You know what they say? Those who live in glass houses
No,
shouldn't invite children who are named after rocks over.
those who live in glass houses get dressed in the basement.
This place
Yeah,
is
also that.
this place is the classic definition of you broke it, you bought it. Okay, and I think in my head, this place, the more normal part of the day here is night.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Like that is the average part of the day for them is after 6 or 7 p.m. or whatever.
Maybe as
Okay.
an idea, maybe that's when they open the gates and why the gates were closed when we got there.
Interesting. We came at the wrong time for them.
Is it maybe the senior monks who are tasked with the forge, the
Sure.
work, they maybe do that. And then there's like one monk who's sort of the overseer for the junior monks, or there's like, oh yeah, there's a rotating duty of night watchmen, close quote unquote,
Right.
RAs, that kind of thing. The main ritual purpose mission of this place happens at night, and the senior monks are there for that.
Hmm.
And maybe you have like those sort of intermediate journeyman level apprentices learning the craft. But a lot of times in an apprenticeship system, your apprentices are doing the really menial tasks like hauling sand, making mixtures, things like that.
Polishing.
Cleaning, polishing.
Oh, yeah, polishing, definitely polishing.
Honestly,
Running the bellows.
I'd mentioned annealing, which is the very slow cooling process. You have an annealing box that is designed to be an insulated box that cools down very slowly, and it comes in hot. So yeah, maybe some of them are managing smaller furnaces that keep, or fires that keep those hot,
Oh, sure.
and then tamping those down, letting them cool, taking the finished glass out, that sort of thing.
One of those things where it's like you've seen paint drying and grass growing, now watch glass cooling.
I mean, yes.
Just
Yeah.
in the list of tedious things,
Well,
like
I mean, the thing is, you don't really have to watch it. You just, once you get it set up,
you
You've got to
honestly,
let
you
it.
probably want to check it every once in a while to make sure it doesn't crack or something.
Yeah, but
well,
it's
I mean, the thing is,
glass.
there's nothing you can do if it does. So,
Yeah, glass is also one of those things because they go over this in like science labs. You can't tell if it's hot unless you touch it because it can be 800 degrees and just still look like clear, perfectly fine glass
Glass,
and
yeah.
until you accidentally sear your fingertips away.
yeah.
So it's doesn't like looking at it doesn't even do anything. And I don't think Wanderhome is a place for infrared thermometers.
No, probably not.
So,
That seems a little advanced technologically speaking for this setting.
Well, hold on though.
Yeah, I feel like there's a thing we can do here.
We have critters with heats, with the ability to sense heat.
Snake.
Hmm.
Snack.
Snake.
A pit viper in the annealing pit.
Mm-mm.
That's actually probably one of
Didn't-
the monks. Like he's just down there, and because he can, sense heat, he's kind of in charge.
Sure, I like that.
He's
So, a little bit back to the ritual
Yeah.
and the hierarchy. So, I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Pasanki before. It is Ukrainian egg dyeing, but traditionally the eggs are prayers. That each symbol you dye into the egg, it's a very long. I can describe the entire process. I've done it countless times. I have 2 jars of Pasanki eggs in my dining room. But so each design is a different thing in the prayer. Like each thing stands for something else. And so as you're dyeing it, the colors stand for things, the designs, the shapes, they all stand for things. So with the elder monks, they probably physically can't keep up with everything, but what they can do while these glass things are being made, they're applying different color dyes into the glass as it's being blown, as it's being rolled, to bring in different aspects of prayer for whoever is going to end up buying it, and each color represents something else for them.
Okay, I like this, and I want to add something to it. The colors that they use are based on you can look at the glass and tell like what kinds of things were concerns in the surrounding community when it was made. Like if there's an illness, they use one color. If there's problems with discord among neighbors, there's another color. If they're grateful, and it's a Thanksgiving, there's a different color. Like there's an elaborate like color scheme that they use to kind of indicate the things that the prayers were about as they're doing this glass work. Everything that's made here will have kind of a unique look to it based on what was going on at the time and what the monks were concerned about at the time.
And perhaps part of what you sell them is dye.
Yeah, very much could be.
There wouldn't be too many dye options in the surrounding area.
Right.
I do want to pull it back to characters here for a bit, because trust me, I could spend all day describing a place. That's a ton of fun. But I do have a question for Brea specifically. There is something in this place that unnerves you, right?
Yes.
When you walk around, Brea is seeing her reflection everywhere. What is it about that reflection that unnerves you?
Brea has changed some amount since the war ended, but when she looks in the mirror, so to speak, that hasn't changed. She still sees that person.
So there's a mismatch, essentially.
A little bit, yes.
Or is it that Brea feels she should have changed but hasn't?
Some of both. I think she has changed some. That's because now she has, is class the word? Class not the word they use. What's the word they use for
Profession?
profession?
Past?
I can't remember what the word is, but like where she's a firelight, that is the old Brea, and Guardian, which is her second one, is the new Brea. But if you look at her, if someone who she fought in the war with 20 years ago saw her now, they would still see the same woman they saw back then.
Okay.
And I think that's maybe part of what bothers her a little bit. This whole place, intentionally, is a lot about self-reflection. And she did that already a couple of towns ago, and that was more than she wanted to do then. She doesn't want to keep doing it.
Fair enough. Greg, Pebble is probably not super used to like this much glass, this much fine glass in particular.
If anything, it is kind of the closest remnants to, like, the closest thing he has seen since his childhood, since he started traveling, as it is close to the ice he grew up around.
You're looking so much older. You're looking so much older, Pebble. It's how does Pebble feel really getting a chance to look at himself and realize I'm growing up. I'm getting older.
Yeah, because how long have we been traveling for at this point?
I mean, in the real world, it's been like a year and a half, as we determined.
I know. In game, I know it's at least a couple of months, but
Yeah.
I mean, we've gone through several different seasons here, so
this is our third or fourth season, I think.
Yeah, we are almost. This is, I think, our fourth season. Believe it or not, we've only done 4 seasons over the course of this. So, because I know that because we would do an advancement after we finished this.
Oh, each one. That's right. Yeah.
Every 2.
There's 2. Okay.
Because it's 2 months per season.
so like half a year.
Half a year, yeah.
Probably.
But this is less about traveling and more about history, I think, because Pebble's been on the road longer than this game's camera has been on him.
It's probably both with Brea and before Brea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something noticed when dancing in the mirror is finally getting a good look.
There's a lot of movement, very brief contemplative pause, back to a lot of movement.
And seeing other, like, in all this traveling, hasn't really spent consistent time around other children and never really gone to see them continuing really to do what they do, because it's always, oh, here's a new temporary friend, hang out with them, nothing changes. So this was like the first time really getting to see other children and younger folks growing, like having passed on beyond just playtime.
That's true. So with those thoughts in mind, what's the evening meal like? And there's a tension at the table, maybe between the day shift and the night shift, the younger and older monks. How does that express itself?
Really scrupulous manners, I think.
And
Because it's a monastic setting, and like probably like you can eat so many bites before you say something. You have to like gesture for this. You pass things only in one direction around the table. There's probably like a ritualistic courses of the meal sort of a thing where the more junior monks serve the more senior ones, and then maybe at the end there's one where that reverses and the senior serve the junior, and just a lot of like ritual and etiquette that's a little opaque to outsiders.
I feel like the conversation's also either very professional or very surface level between the two groups. Inside the groups, maybe not, but between the two groups, everything's very cut and dry, very short, very like I'm almost treating it in my head like enlisted soldiers and officers or something.
Super. Yeah,
I'm also thinking a little bit of like call and response kind of a thing where there's like a script that gets uttered every single time.
That's a part of the transfer of responsibility or whatever.
Yeah, responsibility and food and
and then the opposite thing happens in the morning.
Yep.
Interesting.
Because you would have 3 meals a day. One group is getting up, the other one's going to bed. Or I guess you'd have 4 meals. One in the middle of the night for only one group. One in the morning where one's going to bed and the other's getting up, and then one in the middle of the day for the ones that are up for the day. So 2 times each group has a meal to themselves, and then they share the other 2, and that's when things are more formal and awkward.
Yeah, there's one every 6 hours.
Yeah, essentially.
That tracks. So then here's a question for you. If you've got this very established ritual, and suddenly we're throwing a pebble into a otherwise undisturbed glassy pool.
Oh, beautiful.
What does your presence do to disrupt things?
I think they're forcing themselves to be personable with other people, which they don't usually have to do. Because they intentionally don't do it with each other.
Okay.
But they know they have to do it with us.
Yeah, the rules with guests are probably a bit different than they probably have enough hospitality, and also because this is a business on some level, they probably adapt to those that are visiting them rather than requiring the visitors to adapt to them.
Right.
But that probably makes for a non-trivial amount of awkwardness because they're used to doing everything very ritualistically and by rote, and nobody who visits them knows the rules of this very complicated dance or does anything by rote.
Interesting.
I have a question for Sunny then.
Yeah.
Because Sunny is an entertainer, dancer by trade. One of the reasons that you get into that is to help people relax and forget themselves and to maybe relieve some of the stress and tension. So how is Sunny dealing with this kind of dinner, this situation that's kind of like a Cold War of shift change?
I think Sunny's preening a bit, to be perfectly honest. This is a place where there's not a lot of attention paid to personal appearance, right? A lot of attention paid to art and to craft, but not to clothing, to self-care, possibly not even hygiene in some cases, although there may be rituals around that. But you're coming in fresh out of the forges, fresh out of the furnace. You're going to be
real sweaty
no matter what. Apprentices working hard all day, they're going to have the same thing. Whereas Sunny is, in a beautiful robe, showing off their feathers to best effect. Sunny's standing out, sir. That's a big piece of it. And I think that's at once making Sunny the center of attention, but also in a way that Sunny is struggling with, because even Sunny can figure out this is not a time to like break out the song and dance. Sunny enjoys ritual, but within a very specific context. And I don't think Sunny is comfortable with this very stilted, uncomfortable formality that exists to create barriers rather than to create a mutual connection and a sort of shared language and shared experience.
Yeah, that tracks.
What we should do is we should break up the tension by throwing them a pizza party.
Well, what Sunny is doing is trying to laugh and smile.
Hey, Daniel, when is this corporate America?
Sunny is trying to be kind of a bright, cheery presence. And I don't know. Do you all think that is what effect do you all think that's having?
Archibald will appreciate that, and probably, like, if he does not start out sitting near Sunny, he will find an excuse to move that way very quickly and kind of try to buttress those efforts, because he's not really enjoying all of this awkward stiltedness either. He's friendly and warm and kind of, unpresuming, as you've seen throughout things, and he really doesn't like all of this crazy formality and intense ritual. So if he can find an oasis away from it, he's going there.
I think Marion's pretty conflicted because in one sense, Marion is the pilgrim. He's supposed to come to places like this. Like that's kind of what he's supposed to do. So there's an admiration for these monks here. So I think at first Marion's like, "What are you doing? We're supposed to be austere like all of them." But then like eventually I think maybe he will relax and kind of see that maybe this is a thing that needs to happen. And maybe he shouldn't put these monks so high up on the pedestal. But like at first, he's very much like, I don't really want to mess the vibe up of this monastery.
This may also be the single most formal place Bray has ever been.
I mean, it may be the single most formal place on Earth. Let's be honest.
That's possible,
Like,
yes.
or whatever the name of the planet this setting is on.
When you get into the weirdly industrial areas, when everything else is a village with, 40 people in it or whatnot, it is unusual. What's the owl's name? What's that guy? Roderick. He's going to wander over and look at Archibald. It's good to have you here again. What brings you our way?
Oh, the usual trading circuit. Archibald will scoot over and, gesture for him to kind of join the group that he's part of and do what he can to kind of create a little space of welcome around himself.
Oh, well, yes. Thank you. Do you have your usual selection of dyes and the like?
Oh, do I? In fact, I actually have some newer stuff that you haven't seen before. And he'll go into talking about some of the new dyes that he's picked up earlier on in the route. And
this will be the first time you've seen one of the monks look anything remotely close to excited about anything. Yes. Well, very good. We will
new colors.
Me when shiny Pokemon get released.
Yeah.
New colors. Grant, remind me we need to talk about TFT later. They did a thing. Yes, this is going to be very good. We these are new traveling companions for you. Yes, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's we all kind of found we were going the same way and decided to stick together.
Well, you are welcome to stay as long as you like. The Abbey is not the environment most are accustomed to, but you are welcome here.
I'll be staying for a while like I usually do, and then I'll be heading out like I always do to see what else I can find to enrich your glassmaking process along the way.
Excellent. He has a very brief look on his face when he gets a good look at Pebble and realizes there's a child in glass. But he composes himself quickly. Yes, well, it's a pleasure to meet all of you. I am Roderick.
Good to see you again, Roderick.
It's a pleasure. He will walk around and make the intentionality of shaking wings, shaking
hands. We're just gonna
paws.
say hands.
Nope.
I don't want to. I can't.
Semantics, Daniel.
I can't think about Marion with his hooves trying to do
formal introduction.
Yes,
yes.
He will greet everyone. Yes.
In a year and a half, we have never actually discussed how that works, especially with like walking around.
Don't worry about it.
Listen, we're just VeggieTalesing it. It just happens.
Yeah, no kidding.
How are we clapping? I have no idea.
If it has clothes, it has clothes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it claps, it claps. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not important.
So
I do kind of like VeggieTales rules for this.
Yeah. So if then that's going on, what's the plan for this evening? Is everyone going to bed? Are we staring at the stars? Investigating salt flats bright under the moon? Investigating a furnace hard at work?
You are welcome to take a tour if you would like. I can have one of the younger monks accompany you around a variety of parts of our facility.
I appreciate that, actually.
I will warn you, it is quite uncomfortable if you are not used to it. But you
I
adjust.
handled flyer before.
Fair enough. I will make sure one of the monks is available to you.
You're made of sterner stuff than I am, Sonny. I tried this tour a couple trips ago and had to bail out in the early portion of it. I'm from chillier environs than this, and I don't think my body likes being that warm.
Years of learning to dance holding flames.
Ooh.
Touche.
Fire. I am much in the same situation as Archibald, but I'm going to stay up and I'm going to brave the elements, as it were.
He'll go get a small one of the small mice monks and bring them over.
All right.
I'll be happy to show you around.
Thank you.
I don't know why, but for some reason I'm picturing this mouse talking really fast. Like,
Hi, I'm Reginald.
yeah,
You guys want to see the building?
Yeah.
Because you grew up on Looney Tunes.
Uh-huh.
probably.
Feifel
yeah.
goes west and the like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know they made more than 2 of those movies?
No,
Yeah.
they didn't. No,
We don't
only
know.
two.
No, they didn't. Exactly. No, they didn't.
That mouse cannot get lost anymore.
It's not. It's literally
They go
not
back
possible.
to New York.
Put a bell
No.
on him.
No, it's unacceptable. I'm not doing it.
I do actually want to get Sunny into the furnace here. Or into this glass works. I should
Yeah.
Follow me. He begins to skitter off.
get up. Maybe kind of ask Pebble, do you mind taking dishes or whatever needs to happen here? I don't know what you're supposed to do with them.
Let me take the dishes. I'll join you in a bit. I'll take these glass plates and
Oh no!
follow
I
them.
didn't think about that.
These glasses and this glass flatware and
Oh, I hate it.
You get a couple of knowing nodding. Oh, yep, yep, good idea. Thank you.
Everything chips. Everything cracks. No.
Ooh, this one's a capital P Pyrex.
Ooh.
If you know, you know.
Yes.
Slip that under the robe.
Would you like to see the billows first, or the glass blowing area first, or the cooling area first?
You know, I think the glass works itself. The furnaces.
Very good. Off we go.
Before I cool down too much and don't want to be back in there after a long day on the road.
Of course. Right this way.
Thank you.
He just kind of walks along the hallway. He points at different. I imagine there's a non-zero amount of ceremonially decorated glass that just lines all of the hallways. And he tells you about monks from 400 years ago who installed that piece or painted that piece or etc.
Okay.
Here's the
Pebble is
glass hilt
following.
of a saber.
What I do want to try and pick up essentially is the sort of the rhythm coming from the glassworks.
Like the actual audible humming.
The humming, the movement of people, the working of furnaces and bellows, the calls to, okay, take it out, turn it, do this, do that, put it back in, because you have glass blowers working in teams on large pieces, things
Right.
like that.
Do you think they would have work songs like similar to sea shanties to keep the rhythm?
Probably not, because it's probably individual pieces.
Okay.
But I do imagine it's a very just constantly back and forth, heavily timed, but also with room for fluidity, because in my mind they're not really in control. The glass is in control.
I like that. Yeah.
yeah.
You can structure however much you want, but if it doesn't turn exactly the way you think it does, or doesn't
Mhm.
blow exactly the way you think it's going to, then you're on your own.
Well,
You're just
and
gonna
one
deal
other
with
thing
it.
to remember, glass never, ever stops being a liquid. It just becomes a really,
Oh.
really thick, slow-flowing liquid.
I figured out why Ryan doesn't like it here. That's a concept I don't.
High viscosity.
Yeah, I find that
At least
unsettling.
At least it's not a non-Newtonian fluid.
It's true.
Ketchup
Yeah,
is non-Newtonian.
I
so
don't like the idea of liquid in a non-Newtonian fluid.
what I kind of picture Sonny doing is Sonny has that battered iron drum that they carry,
Ooh.
and just holding it and just starting to just tap on it with the fingers. trying to find the rhythm that's present here.
The monk looks at you funny for just a second until he realizes what you're doing, and then he just softly smiles and nods at you.
It's sort of a distracted nod back.
I'm sure he's still explaining things, but you don't hear it anymore.
Okay.
But he slowly walks you through the process step by step. And I imagine the image I see in my head is the room in Monsters, Inc., where they work. It's one really long room.
Actually,
long room.
You're going to have like furnaces along
Yeah.
a wall and stations right out of them where people are pulling the glass out,
Turning it. And
I think we're all assuming glass blowing here.
yes.
I think so. Yeah, I know.
There's probably a separate workspace for like large plates and things like that. Sheets get poured out, but that's complicated.
That makes me more on edge and nervous, and I don't know why.
Well,
higher breaking point.
I said, we need to stay focused, but just a little info here. Buddy of mine used to manage a plate glass factory. Was foreman there.
Cool.
They did like all the Arby's windows, things like that, and Krispy Kreme, right? All their counters, they did those.
We just all made the same nice and shook our heads face together.
But the way you get those even sheets of glass is you pour them out on molten lead.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Or molten metal, essentially. And then, just sort of the glass flows off of those. It's
what I'm going to be watching on YouTube later.
That's what I remember him saying.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would make sense.
But my point is that may be too complicated for the environment that we have. There's a reason we don't, plate glass, like clear plate glass windows that are really high quality, is a more recent thing in the real world.
Yeah.
So there may be a different process for doing older glass.
I almost wonder if maybe they've got some other thing that they can heat up out here that they can replicate that with. That might be part of the reason this place exists, is that they've figured out how to do that at some, lower tech level.
Okay.
I don't know if they can like melt the salt or something or some other.
As we established last time, if you melt the salt too much, you get chlorine gas.
Yeah, that's probably real bad.
Now that's a bad time.
Yeah. That's a World War I trenches time, in fact.
It would explain some of the tension in this place, but
yeah.
Everything's on a knife's edge.
They all put gas masks on and go to work.
I think we can just say there's not a lot of plate glass happening, or if it is, it's like
a different part of the.
Well, it's blown glass being stretched out.
Yeah, and then probably used for, say, stained glass.
And I think probably
little panels.
People walking through are kept further away from that area.
Sure, that sounds more dangerous, honestly, because somebody controlling small bits of blown glass.
There's a difference from something the size of a bowl and something the size of a 10 by 10 window.
Right. Yeah. Or even whatever it is.
4x4 window even.
But yeah. So my point was, you're going to have like workstations along a long wall, like you were describing. And I think that works. And I think that also gives you sort of a place to walk through and maybe walk behind them. And that's where Sonny's finding that beat, finding that rhythm.
Thanks for listening to City on a Hill Gaming. If you want to find out more, visit us online at cityonahillgaming.com or by sending us an email at cityonahillgaming@gmail.com. Or check the link in the description to join our Discord. Thanks as always to our Patreon backers, Christina, Joanne, Tony, Bryan, Andrew, Sir Lord Epic Name, and Grizzly Rich. And as always, thanks for listening, and have a blessed day.